What the fuck is this? The UFC have just announced the UFC 301 main event, and it is Pantoja versus Steve Ercik. Yes, Steve Ercik, the number 10 ranked in the division. Why? Why has this matchup been made? I don't get it. You've got Brandon Royval, who's just beaten Brandon Moreno. Now, yes, I have said time and time again, I wouldn't want to see him fight Pantoja for a third time. But, like, how do you give it to Steve Ercik over Royval anyway? Let's just move on from that one. Then you've got Almir Albazi, was meant to fight Brandon Moreno, obviously had to pull out due to an injury. Is the rank number 2, 3, 1, 2 or 3 in the division. Pass him up as well, will not give it to him. Then you've got Muhammad Makayev, who I came on here again and said after his Alex Perez performance didn't deserve a shot at Pantoja. Even he deserves it over Steve Ercik. What is this matchup? This just goes to show that the UFC flyweight division is so thin. Like, I just don't get how he's just beat Matt Schnell. He's just got into he has just got into the top 10 rankings. And then they've given him the shot against Pantoja. The fight makes no sense. Plus, it's the main event. Like, 301 was meant to be Alex Pereira, Jamal Hill. Imagine getting excited for that. And then you have this as your main event. Now, a lot of people are saying, yeah, but this hasn't been announced as the main event. What is going to main event this? What's going to top this fight? This is Pantoja's from Brazil. He's the champion. There's no other Brazilian champions that are going to be able to fight on this card. What else main events this card? This is the main event. UFC 301 should not be a pay-per-view. It should be a fight night if this is going to be the headliner of the card. The card in general looks pretty ass at the minute anyway. Even though I will still stay up and watch it. But yet, I just don't get this matchup at all. Like, it's something new for Pantoja, yes. He's beat Royval twice. He's beat Moreno 3 times. Moreno's just been beaten by Royval. But, like, the pass up Almir Albazi, like, what? Like, what? I don't get it. I don't get this matchup. Hopefully, though, it proves us all wrong and it is a great matchup because normally the flyweight fights can be either extremely boring or extremely fun to watch. So hopefully this is on the extremely fun to watch part because Steve Ercik is a great boxer, very fast hands. He's just coming off a KO win as well, but Pantoja's just quite clearly, in my opinion, the best in that division, and I feel like he's going to show that against Steve Ercik, and I think he might get the finish, especially he's probably going to look for it more that it's in Brazil. Next up, what I want to talk about today is the rumour that Paul Felder could be fighting Paddy Pimblett next. Now, what fucks me off about this is the fact that apparently the UFC UK event this year is a fight night in Manchester, which, that's fine if you want to do a fight night in the UK. If Paddy Pimblett is going to be the headline of a fight night in the UK, why put it in Manchester and not Liverpool? Like, why do that? Which then makes me think it is going to be a pay-per-view though, because just look at the talent that there is in the UK. Now, you've literally got 2 champions. Why the fuck would you not have a pay-per-view event in the UK this year? But anyway, on to this fight. Paul Felder, as we know, hasn't fought in 2 years. He is 39 years of age. A couple of months back, he said he was getting back into the testing pool, and then you never really heard anything else about him coming back. Paddy Pimblett, obviously, coming off that win against Tony Ferguson at UFC 296. He has said, though, that he would be looking to come back in July. Obviously, that is when this card is. I think this is good matchmaking on the UFC's behalf if it is to be made. Paul Felder is a former top 10 lightweight. If Paul Felder beats Paddy Pimblett, Pimblett is a huge star. This would then really elevate Paul Felder, give him a real boost in popularity. And for Paddy Pimblett, I don't think Paddy Pimblett at this minute beats anybody in the top 10. That's just my opinion. And Paul Felder is a former top 10 lightweight, so this would be really good for Paddy Pimblett to test out his skills and get another big name on his resume in Paul Felder. And I think Paddy Pimblett wins this matchup. He's a lot younger than Paul Felder. He's been a lot more active, obviously, than what Paul Felder has been. And I feel like Paddy Pimblett will win this by out-grappling Paul Felder, kind of being able to get Paul Felder to the mat, hold him there, and maybe win it by decision. Paul Felder's really tough and durable, so I don't see Paddy Pimblett being able to finish him, especially on the feet. I'd favour that for Paul Felder, but Paddy Pimblett to be able to out-grapple Paul Felder for how many rounds it is. I feel like it will be 3 rounds. I don't think this is going to main event the card, to be honest. I feel like Paddy Pimblett would win this by decision. And just finally, I want to touch up on this. So, 2 seconds. Let me get this back up here. So, yeah, tonight we have got a UFC Fight Night. Tybura, Tai Tuivasa. Shit, this card is fucking wank, okay? This card is not great. It's maybe like it's like a 4 out of 10, okay? Then next week, the main event, have a fucking guess. Amanda Ribas versus Rose Namajunas, and again, another fucking ass card, right? Next, Blanchfield versus Manon Fiorot, I forget how to say that woman's name. That's not a bad main event. This card is okay, but that's not a main event worthy fight, in my opinion anyway. Overall though, that main card isn't bad compared to the other two. Then you've got Brandon Allen, which was meant to be Marvin Vettori, and that is a great main event. Now it's Chris Curtis. Less of a good card. And then look at the rest of the card. It's fucking dog shit. Like, this is really shit, this card. And then thankfully you get UFC 300. But yeah, this is what I want to talk about. Like, the Apex is a blessing and a curse to the UFC. It was a blessing in terms that they were able to still run events when the world for some reason shut down due to the common cold. And they were able to run fights there. It served its purpose there. Worked well for the UFC. But like now, like these fight nights are fucking shit now. Like there's no effort. Tai Tuivasa Tybura is not a main event. Like if they were to do this as a main event, why is it not in Australia where Tai Tuivasa is from? Then I could understand it being a main event. But in the Apex, like this just isn't a main event fight. Amanda Ribas, Rose Namajunas, not a main event fight. Like they need to do something about these Apex cards. And I did make a TikTok about it where I said, what would you rather have, less events? And this is where I contradict myself because I want to watch the UFC every weekend. And I will watch this card. But like, no, I would stay up for most of the UFC events, fight nights, pay-per-views. But like, the next 3-4 fight night cards, I am not staying up for them to watch them because like, outside of the Blanchfield card, which is a decent card, again, that's not a main event worthy fight. They're shit. They are shit. Like, why are they not doing fight nights in different cities with packed out crowds? Like, they do like that UFC one that was in Mexico. That was a stacked card. That was a great card. Great fight night card. And then you go from that to this. I just don't get it. I think the Apex needs to be used less. It served its purpose now. Let's start moving into different states, different countries, and having actual good fight nights there. That's just my opinion, but let me know in the comments below. What do you think of the 301 main event? What do you think of Paddy Pimblett versus Paul Felder potentially? And what do you think about these Apex UFC events? Let me know in the comments below. Like, share, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. It does really help out. I'm aiming to hit 100 subscribers by the end of March. We are currently at 95, so I would appreciate it. And as always, see you again in the next one.